So the next topic we're going to be treating is entomology. So we're going to get to know what entomology is, and under entomology, we're going to be discussing about the arthropods. Okay, so so just remember at any point you can't hear me, and please let's endeavor to mute our mic so that we could just get all and there will be no disturbance in the class. And at any point you can't hear me, please don't forget to let me know so we can just sort it out before I continue. Then on this topic, entomology, we need to get to know what entomology is and then how they also affect human. Because one thing with all this is in studying all these things in public health is how do they really affect human? No, public health is just studying about human beings, the environment, and then how all these animals or microorganisms or insects actually affect them. Okay, so we okay, so we're going to get to know what is entomology. So entomology is coined from two Greek words, entom and logos. So what is entom? Entom um means insect. Insect. I hope all of us know what is insect. Then logos means study. So entomology is the study of insects and their relationship to humans, the environment, and then other organisms. So whenever you hear of entomology, it means the study of insects. Whenever you hear of mycology, it's the study of fungi, and so on. We treated mycology in the previous model. Okay, so then arthropods belong to the phylum Arthropoda. Okay, so arthropods are they also come from two Greek words, which means arthron and then poda. Okay, arthron means jointed and poda means feet. They are animals with jointed feet or segmented bodies, and they have chitinous exoskeleton. So this chitin, they are protein that serve as a basic structure of the body for protection and for support. Okay, so arthropoda are those animals that have jointed legs. Example of them, you have insects like mosquitoes and others. There are a lot of them. You're going to be seeing a lot of them in this class. Okay, so they are the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. It's over 1 million species. So the arthropoda are the largest in the animal kingdom. Okay, so medical entomology is the branch of this science that deals with the arthropods, okay, which are involved with the spread of disease in humans. One thing is that most of these arthropods are vectors for human diseases, for a lot of diseases. They are vectors, means that they carry these pathogens and transmit it to man. For example, we just discussed about mosquito that transmits this malaria parasite, okay? So they serve as what is called a vector, which is like a carrier of these pathogens or these infections. So medical significance of arthropods is attributed mainly due to their blood-sucking habits, okay, and their role as a vectors of the agents of bacteria, viral or parasitic infections. So most of them are blood-sucking animals and they are vectors, just like I've explained. Then these are the classifications of the arthropods of public health relevance. Okay, so there are basically five class of the arthropods. We have the insecta, we have the arachnida, we have the petastomida, we have the myriapoda, and we have the crustacea. So these are the five basic class of the arthropods. Then under the class, we also have the order, what you call the order. You know the classification. If you have read your module one, which actually cover the classification or the classification of microorganisms or classification order in biology, phylum, genera, species, and all that. So the order of insects. So under insecta, we have order, we have the Diphthera, we have the Hemiptera, we have the Coleoptera, and a lot of them. These are just the common names. Like other the Diphthera, we have the known mosquito, the one we've just discussed. We have the sandflies, we have the tsetse fly, black flies, blowflies, and cars. A lot of them. Okay. So we also have the Arachnida. Then under the order, we have Acari, we have the Arania, we have the Scorpions. Like for the Acari, we have the ticks, we have the hard and the soft ticks, we have the chiggers, we have the mites. Then under the Arania, we have the spider. Then we have under the Scorpions, we have the scorpions. Okay. We also have another class which is Pentastomida. Then the common name for them, we also have the tongueworm. Then we have the Myriapoda. We have the other order, we have the Diplopoda or the Chilopoda. Another Diplopoda, we have the millipedes. Okay. Then another Chilopoda, we have the centipedes. Then for crustacea, we have the Copoda and we also have the Decapoda. So I think we just get to know at least one or two of the you have to get to know the class of the arthropoda, get to know the insecta, the arachnida, and all of these. Then under the common names, you just have to know that each maybe one or two insects that's associated with the class, okay, or one of the two arthropods that are associated with the class, okay. For the insect type, I just know the mosquito and the tsetse fly or the black fly, which is well known. Then just get to know at least one or two that are common ones associated with the class. Okay, so we also have ways these arthropods can transmit infections to humans. So there are basically two major ways can transmit infections. We have the mechanical transmission and then the biological transmission. So under this mechanical transmission, it means that this arthropod carries the antigen on the body surface without internal multiplication. So they merely transport the organism from one host to another or from the environment to a host and is not part of their life cycle. So what this actually means is that when if a pathogen, sorry, if a pathogen is being transmitted mechanically, it means that it's not part of that pathogen life cycle. Okay, maybe they just carry the pathogen and transmit it to the host. Example, a housefly. Housefly, when a housefly want to transmit, maybe for example, disease cholera. Okay, maybe they just go to um, the infected water or the infected feces and then they carry when they fetch on it, they will carry it and maybe transmit it to the host, okay? But they are not part of their life cycle. So unlike in biological transmission, where pathogen undergoes development or multiplication inside the arthropod, for example, the mosquito, we see how we actually treat the life cycle of mosquito, how the plasmodium develop inside the mosquito from the gametocyte to the zygote, back to sporozoid. So during biological transmission, they develop inside these arthropods. They form part of their life cycle. Okay, I hope you get to understand the difference between the two modes of transmission. So we have different insects of medical importance. Like I said, insecta is one of the classification of the arthropods. Like I see here, we have the insecta, we have the arachnida, we have the petastomida, and we have the myriapoda and crustacea. So we have some insects that are of medical importance. For example, the mosquito. So they are readily recognized by a long needle like proboscis, and then we have the adults, males and females, which they both feed on plant juices. But one thing is that the female needs blood for development of her eggs. That's why most of that is the female Anopheles mosquito, which is the major transmission the vector for malaria, they feed on blood because they need this blood for development of the eggs. And is also a voracious predator on a wide variety of vertebrate animals throughout the world, especially man, which they feed on the blood and then transfer this malaria parasite to man. Okay, so these mosquitoes they are divided into two. We have the Anopheline mosquitoes and we have the Polycine mosquitoes. So the Anopheline are the ones that majorly transmit malaria and we have the closely, which are the vectors of many arbovirus, like the dengue fever or the Zika virus. So these we have the life cycle of the Anopheles mosquito. Remember the one we treated is life cycle of malaria, how malaria is being transmitted from mosquito to man. So for life cycle of an Anopheles is how mosquito is being formed right from when they lay eggs to the adult stage. Okay. So the first thing is that the adult female mosquito um lays eggs maybe on a water or like in a water area, maybe let's say it's stagnant water, okay? So when they lay these eggs, the eggs will hatch within 2 to 3 days and they form what is called the larva stage. So after the larva stage, the larva and the pupa they live in the water, okay? So the larva develop to pupa, okay, in about 4 to 10 days. Then after the pupa stage, the pupa stage then develop into adult flying mosquitoes in 2 to 3 days. So this is just how mosquito there's an Anopheles mosquito are being formed. They develop from egg to larva to pupa and then to adult flying mosquito. You get okay. So also have the sandflies. The sandflies are tiny hairy flies belonging to the genus the um Lebotomers, okay, which is old word they actually use in referring it, but currently they are known to belong to the genus Losomia, okay, that are able to penetrate ordinary mosquito nets. So they are tiny flies, and they are vectors of the leishmaniasis, okay, and the sandfly fever. So they carry this disease and transmit it to humans, causing leishmaniasis. Okay, so transmission, the disease is transmitted through the bite of infected female sandflies during blood feeding. They also blood sucking arthropods. So the female flies suck blood usually at night and breed that is, they reproduce in dark, moist areas, often in or around human dwellings. And that's where they're able to affect the human host. So they are mostly found in Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and then the Mediterranean. Okay, they also found in tropical and subtropical areas, often in dark damp areas like cracks in walls or tree holes. So this is just a brief description of sandflies, where they have been found and how they're able to transmit this um, leishmaniasis or the sandfly fever. Okay, so we have another one which is the fleas. So the fleas they are small wingless jumping insects that are external parasites of mammals and birds. They also blood-sucking parasites where developing hind legs, which enable them to jump from host to host. I was not able to get a picture of this place from Google, so that's why you cannot see picture. But this is a picture of a house fly. How it looks like. You see how hairy it is, right? So this is the way you can actually differentiate it from other flies. Then for fleas, they are small winglet jumping insects that are external parasites of mammals and birds. So they are blood-sucking with well-developed legs, which enable them to jump from host to host. So they transmit the disease called plague, especially the Yersinia pestis, okay, and marine typhus. So the species that is adapted for life on human is the human flea, which is the Prolex irritans. It is common throughout the world. That means it can be found in like worldwide, okay? So transmission is through regurgitation of infected blood during feeding or spread the disease during through feces, okay? So they can be found in animal beddings or in homes or areas where host animals reside. So the fleas burrow into the skin or under the toenails of human hosts and are known as jiggers. So this is how they actually infect humans. One of the things you should just note about this insect is that majorly the disease they transmit. So the fleas transmit plague, while the sandflies actually causes this leishmaniasis. Okay, so you should actually get to know in case, because I saw once here and this tutor mark assignment that after they were like, you should what are the clinical disease caused by this insects. Okay, so assuming you should just have to know that the sandfly is leishmaniasis, right? Then the fleas is plagues. So you should get to know the medical importance and a brief discussion about them. Then we have the lice. Lice are wingless, flat-bodied insects that live and feed on human blood. The ones that parasitize man are blood-sucking species with flattened bodies and short legs that are adapted to cling to hair. Usually, we know lice are the one that actually affect the hair, especially we women that makes our hair. So most time you see that your hair is affected with lice. You say, where did I get these lice from? Maybe from salon or from like maybe from someone that came to your house or something. So that blood sucking and animals, okay? We have different types of lice. We have the head lice, which is all the one I explained, that majorly found on the hair, which is called the Pedilus human capitis. Do you remember the capitis, where we explained about the different fungi, about the tinea, where we mentioned about capitis found on the head, okay? We have the tinea capitis that actually affect the head. We have the body lice, which is called the Pediculus humanus corporis, okay, and then the pubic lice, which is the Phyteus pubis. So these are the different types of lice, and then the places they also affect: the head lice, the body lice, and then the pubic, which is the genital area of the body. Okay, so the medical importance is that the body lice can transmit what is called epidemic typhus or the trench fever, and also relapsing fever. Okay, then the transmission is through close human contact or infested clothing or bedding. When you get close to someone that is carrying lice, it can really affect you. Or you use materials just like comb or other things that someone that is infected uses, we can actually affect, especially maybe salon where they use a specific comb for everybody. So you can contact the head lice from there. Then treatment with insecticides like permethrin, malathion, or carbaryl may be effective, but resistance may also occur. Okay, so that's it about the lice. Then we have the black fly. The flies are usually black or dark gray with gauzy wings. Gauzy wings, they have a very fragile wings. You can see that the wings are transparent. Can you see the picture of the black fly? And they also have short antenna. This is the antenna of the black fly, and short legs, and also short mouth part that are adapted for sucking blood. I think the general characteristics of all these insects is that they are blood-sucking animals, and then only female bites, and are sometimes so abundant that they may also kill chicken, pets, and other domestic animals. Okay, some species carry parasites capable of causing onchocerciasis. That's the major that's the disease they actually transmit, which may result in blindness or in nodules beneath the skin. That is when left untreated or when it's not detected early. This onchocerciasis can result in blindness, and it's majorly found in tropical areas like in Nigeria. I think this onchocerciasis is endemic in I know of the one that is the study that is currently going in Taraba State about this onchocerciasis. Maybe it's majorly found a place where there is water, like flowing water. Like they say, the liver and the pupa live in flowing water. So when fully developed in adults, freeze itself from the pupa case, raises to the water level on a bubble of air and flies away. So this is just the that maybe you when someone maybe gets in contact with infected water, the person can actually get or when the person is being bitten by an infected black fly, the person can actually develop this onchocerciasis or other diseases that has been caused by black fly. Okay, so this is the life cycle of black fly, where just like the Anopheles mosquito, from egg to larva to pupa and then to the adult fly. You can see the pictorial view of this the life cycle of the fly is not really that complicated, but this is just the summary from egg to larva to pupa and then to adult fly. Okay, then we have another one. So moving on, we have arachnids of medical importance. Like arachnida are one of the um, class of the arthropods. Okay, So under arachnids, we have the spiders, we have the scorpions, we have the ticks, and then the mites, okay? So they have 4 pairs of legs, and they do not have wings or antenna, just like the insects. Okay, so that's one of the key difference between these arachnids and then the insects. Then for ticks, they are obligate blood feeders. What's the meaning of obligate blood feeders? It means they cannot do with blood. Blood is their major food. That's the meaning of obligate blood feeders. Okay, so they parasiticize a wide variety of animals. Okay, so they are very important vectors of human disease. There are two major types of ticks. We have the hard ticks, which is called the ixoid, and then we also have the soft ticks, which is the agacid. So the hard tick, the major difference that these hard ticks have a chitinous shield on the back, while the soft tick doesn't have this feature. Okay, so the ixoid ticks transmit many rickettsia with the spotted fever group, as well as agents of Lyme diseases or tularemia, or the COCs and other arboviruses like dengue fever or Zika virus. So these are the diseases that have been transmitted by these ticks. Okay, and we also have other arachnids like spiders, scorpions, and then the mites. And then you can see the structure of the ticks on this slide. Okay, so based on what I've explained above, we've actually gone through mosquito, like under the insecta, down to the sandflies, the fleas, the lice, then the arachnida, which is the example is ticks, and the black flies. So these are the things that we've gone through. Then others, we also have other arthropods. We have the beetles, we have the midges, we have the crustaceans, and then all of crustaceans like crabs and crayfish, which mainly serve as food to humans. Okay, not all of them are actually these pathogenic or vector organism. But the crustaceans, which we use crayfish for cooking, and then crabs, which are all the seafood. Okay, so these are other arthropods, and then the ones we've treated, the ones we've not. Maybe we not really go through beetles or midges. You can look up for them in the material, maybe for brief explanation. But I believe these few ones that actually explain are the ones with maybe a kind of little explanations on the material. Okay, so I think we've done justice to the main arthropods that we cover in our material. And at this point, if you have any question about the arthropods that we just treated, you can ask your question now. So thank you everybody for listening. If you have questions, you can ask now about the arthropods. Hello Zainab, do you have a question?
No.
Okay. So what about others? Do you
For
have
the
any?
explanation.
Okay. You said?
I said thank you for the explanation.
Oh,
Even if we
thank
have
you.
questions, sometimes if you rewatch it, it will
Okay,
explain
you're
everything.
welcome. You're welcome. So, in absence of any other question, I want to say thank you so much for your attention, and I'm going to see you in the next class.
Madam Jane, indeed, you're a good lecturer. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So maybe I'll
Thank you.
communicate to us when we're going to have another class by next week. Because the next week is going to be a bit busy for me, but I'll still make out time for our classes. Okay.
Thank you so much for your wonderful lectures.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. So good to see you in the next class, right?
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. Thank you. May God bless you.
Amen.